This is another edition of Editorials, and I welcome you to where we're broadcasting from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Today we'll be looking at Ethiopia's historic election overshadowed by a cascade of crisis and conflict. So stay with me. I'll be back after the break. You're welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for staying with me. Ethiopia is holding a twice-delayed national election in what the government has heralded as long-awaited emergency into multi-party democracy. But a cascade of major crises in Africa's second most populous country has thrown the vote into disarray, leaving millions unable to vote. Foremost among them is a disastrous 7-month-old civil war in the northern region of Tigray, where a powerful regional political party is waging a guerrilla-style conflict against Ethiopia. Ethiopia's military, which is in turn has aligned with forces from neighboring Eritrea and Ethiopia's Amhara region, all sides have been accused of war crimes, and humanitarian groups says hundreds of thousands in Tigray are experiencing famine conditions. The election itself has been weakened by widespread insecurities, logistical issues, and political dispute. Tigray will not take part in the vote and is not taking part in the vote actually at all, and about a fifth of polling stations in the rest of the country will not open on Monday because of the security concerns or improperly printed ballots. According to the country's election commission, the closed polling stations tend to be in areas where opposition parties claim support. Those closures, as well as the jailing of numerous prominent government critics, have led some of the country's biggest opposition parties to boycott the election. Now let's look at what is at stake in the election. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed came to power in 2018 on a wave of discontent against what many Ethiopians perceive as a system of ethnic favoritism entrenched by the authoritarian Tigrayan-led regime that has ruled the country for decades. Abiy's initial move towards opening up political and media freedoms were widely lauded, and his peace overtures to Eritrea, which formally ended a long and brutal war, earned him a Nobel Peace Prize. Abiy is widely expected to re-elect. His standing both within and outside Ethiopia has been greatly diminished since the war in Tigray began. The United States, once a close ally, has sanctioned top government officials for their alleged roles in serious human rights violations in Tigray, suspended all security assistance, and said that it was gravely concerned about the election environment given multiple crises that threaten the country's unity and territorial integrity. The European Union withdrew its election observers after failing to agree with the government on all missions' ability to move and communicate independently. The continued detention of some of Ethiopia's most populous opposition leaders, particularly in Oromia, the country's biggest and most populous region, has eliminated Abiy's main challenger from the vote. The governmental claim jailed opposition leader accused of terrorism aimed at destabilizing the country. The disjointedness of the polls also raised questions of disenfranchisement. Two entire regions, Harare and Somali, will vote in September instead of Monday because of logistical issues. Now let's look at what does all this mean for Ethiopia's political and economic future. While Abiy hopes this election will cement his mandate, analysts say there is a reason to worry that the election will further destabilize Ethiopia. The war in Tigray shows no signs of ending and is likely to result in Ethiopia's 10 years occupation of a region whose population feels besieged and whom ground is strewn with rubble and unexploded ordnance, despite government pledges that Eritrean troops, I beg your pardon, would withdraw from Tigray. They have not do so. Increasingly, levels of conflict around the country have already triggered a rollback of Abiy's initial reforms, a trend that will likely be exacerbated by Ethiopia's increase in alienation from the international community. And the election itself may be a cause of further violence because of opposition boycott. Many newly elected legislators may have seen an illegitimate by their constituents depending on the existing tension. There is a real risk of election-related violence, especially in Addis Ababa and Amara regions, which will push the country further to uncharted waters. Thank you so much for watching today's edition of editorials. I'm always glad that you always tune out to watch our shows. And my name is Sandra Sande. Thank you so much. I'll see you some other time.